Hello, hello there. I'm no one important, and this is not a speed run. So a bit of news on that front. Actually, in the time since I have not been speed running, someone has taken my Diaries of a Spaceport Chatter world record. Now, honestly, I'm happy about it because that means I'm not the only person running that game. So, yeah, as I mentioned before, this is not a speed run. This is a Let's Play, not a blind Let's Play, unfortunately, because I messed up our recording before this one, but it is a Let's Play of the Dare game, One Shot in the Dark, Now I'm Dead, which is a Sukeban Games, a short Sukeban Games thing, seemingly related to Valhalla because Anna is in it. Now, quick preamble. I've been the biggest fan of Valhalla for a long time. I played the game during the first summer it came out. I played the Anna demo before it got added to the game proper. I played Girls Frontline just to play the collab. Great writing, by the way, in my opinion. I played the April Fool's game, saw all the secrets, and I even played the little-known itch.io game for Game Jam. Soul and Brittle, I believe it was called. Check it out. Same universe as Valhalla, as far as I can tell. Seems to be semi-official. If you're out there looking for other, Valhalla stuff that went under the radar, like you are if you're watching this, then yeah, check it out. So anyways, I saw this game yesterday, and, you know, Anna was my favorite character in Valhalla, so I knew I would play it. And no one else had posted anything about it other than the devs. So I decided to myself, you know what, I'm gonna re-download OBS for the first time in like 2 years, and I'm just gonna record it for everyone. Now, couple of apologies in advance. This isn't a blind playthrough. I made a recording, used the wrong file type, and I have to make it all over again. Aside from that, I have trouble speaking for extended periods of time, and my voice is a bit quiet, so I've turned down the game's audio, because the music, while great, is a little bit loud. So, with that being said, I have beaten the game before. I mean, there's not much to beat, but uh, yeah, I'm not going into it blind, but I hope you enjoy. I certainly enjoyed it, and yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say. Now, I will say that one theory I've had for the longest time is that Anna was actually assassinated for involvement in Alice Rabbit or something of that ilk. And I think the fact that this is an Alice OS kind of, says something about that, in my opinion, especially with the events and context of this game. So, hi, Anna. You look very tired and sad and galaxy-y. So, yeah. Hey, glad you can make it. I know that the geocache coordinates are pretty hard to decrypt. Got some bad news for you, though. You were followed. Terrible, I know. Anyways, you've got maybe 30 minutes before this place is a veritable beehive full of trigger-happy feds, so no pressure. By the way, that time limit isn't real. I did a 2-hour recording before this. So, yeah, I can talk to you as long as I want, fine audience. But hey, you wouldn't have signed on if you weren't planning on becoming a martyr, so let's get to work. See that window I just popped up for you? There's a bunch of data here I need you to look through. It was locked until your biometrics were verified on this terminal. The rest of Apostle put everything on the line for this. Hope you're a fast reader. So here we have our little news tab. Well, Anna's just over here staring at us and blinking. So, Mass 01. Eastern Bloc continues construction of mass driver. United States recommends sanctions. UN Security Council vetoes proposal by Levy Publican. A long hush fell over the chambers of the United Nations Parliamentary Assembly earlier today, as the United States of America's representatives pushed for sanctions against the People's Republic of China due to an ongoing construction of a mass driver. If you seek to strain the relationship between the East and West so deeply, let us take this to the floor for a vote and see where your allies and ours truly stand, quipped the Federation from the Russian Federation. Representative for the Russian Federation. The matter of economic sanctions against the PRC was brought to the floor as a largely symbolic gesture, with most nations in attendance declining to cast a vote. The Russian Federation and the People's Republic of China exercised their their veto power as permanent members of the UN Security Council, annulling the publicly disclosed vote result. Tensions between the nations have been growing since the early 21st century. These came to a head earlier this year, as the USA violated the 1967 Outer Space Treaty this month with the development of an anti-satellite weapon. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization member states initially opposed the launch of the anti-satellite weapon. However, following the launch of a Russian satellite killer, immediately changed their position on the matter. The USA has also been reconstructing their own mass driver, with completion scheduled for later this year. Officially, it is to be a new launching platform for NASA to use as part of their NEO shuttle initiative. However, the astronomers from the European Space Agency have been quick to point out that conventional commercial spaceflight is more than sufficient for NASA's program, and have warned that it may be a weapon of some sort. We reached out to NASA regarding the ESA's concerns, but their representatives declined to comment. Man, remember when nations were a thing? Wait, of course you don't. That was kind of before your time. Forgot you're kind of a baby. Anyway, there's probably more to this. Check your inbox. I dug up a few related emails. The fact that Anna says this, even though this isn't a blind playthrough anymore, kind of makes me wonder if this takes place in like Valhalla's world, in Rom's world, or what? Because I know this says 2XXX. Usually Valhalla stuff is 20XX, so I'm wondering if this is like way after the events of Valhalla, or if it's something else entirely. But yeah, man, remember nations were a thing. Anyway, there's probably more in this. Check your inbox. I've dug up a few related emails. So the way this goes is it goes bottom up, I've found. So I'm going to start from the bottom. So I'm not going to read all the names. But yeah, RE mass driver inquiry between Jonah and Eska. I'm still waiting on that errant position detection analysis from your agency. I know you said that you'd have your colleague email it to me, but I believe it may have been suppressed by your superiors. I am fully aware of the danger that investigating this may pose to you, but it is of the utmost importance. If the PRC is producing antimatter at the same scale that we believe the USA is, then there could be something truly awful on the horizon. I understand your bandwidth is severely limited while on the IR2, but there are positron emissions at a high density, but there are positron emissions at a high density, then the terror of nuclear weapons will seem trivial compared to what comes next. Now we have Ptolemaios and KANA. Picturesque and desertine. Got that report you asked for, kiddo. This thing doesn't look like any power plant I've ever seen. Check out the first picture. No power lines leading out of the facility, but the place is glowing ominous blue. What the hell's up with that? Now, one thing of interest is that this clearly says 1999. So, I wonder if that's intentional or not. Because all of this is coming from the year 2XXX. So, it can be hard to place this in any kind of timeline, or it's placed in the Valhalla universe. But yeah, I don't know if this was intentional or not. I just pressed play again just to, show this again. I'm actually a close look when I activated that active camo thing you slipped me. Pretty sure you're gonna get on the receiving end of a firing squad for handing out shit like this, but I'm not giving it back. Too convenient. Check out picture 2. Lots of dudes in hazmat suits. Clean looking lab. So I'll bring this up for a second if any of you want to really soak this in. So yeah. Next thing I want to draw your attention to is these plasma tube-like things. Looks more like something's being contained in here. I'm sure it is some kind of layman. It just looks like some kind of advanced fusion reactor thing. But I ain't no layman. Fusion power would be brighter than the goddamn sun. Not to mention take a fuck ton of space. This is something totally different. Check it out. And you can see here it says risk of explosion alongside radiation hazard. I tripped over something just before I managed to barely get this last one clear, but check out this warning sign. Seems to indicate something highly explosive. Fusion power would be dangerous, sure, but why warning signs about explosive materials? Whatever is being contained in those plastic tubes is probably the explosive. Pretty sure we're looking at some kind of weapons facility here. That's all you're getting for now. Tomeo signing off. Now this is interesting. There's no record of antimatter containment ever getting past a few antiparticles at a time. Consider it a dead end and shut down to focus on their power sources. This Talmaeus guy sounds pretty interesting. Let's see what else I've got from him. So we have logs and we have images. And the image is just a slab image, which for some reason gets saved here when nothing else does. So initial findings sent out to CANAAN. Potential other clients currently being sought out. My findings indicate that the antimatter containment tubes are compatible with the USA's mass drivers. Elsewhere in the building I saw housings that looked an awful lot like railgun shells, massive ones. Impressive to say the least. What I overheard was more interesting. Anti-carbon, that is way more dense than anti-hydrogen. This weapon system is going to be more destructive than anyone can imagine. Going to begin a deep dig into figuring out the figuring out how anti-carbon containment was mastered despite there being no news surrounding it. And now our second log. Did some digging on Levi Publican on behalf of somebody who seems to have it out for the United Press. I think we want to get some blackmail on this lady, but decided to just not respond to them. I'm far more interested in that weapon stuff she seemed to find out about. Kind of mentioned some unusual monetary movement in the mining sector from one of her clients. And I'm starting to think this all might be related. Going to do some in-person scouting in the USA this month and see what I can find. I'm going to keep tabs on that Levy lady too. She seems more competent than expected if she's got the balls to put stuff that's getting her bosses in trouble. Could be a useful asset in the future. What's concerning to say the least. Not even giving his client full intel to his client despite being paid too. I respect the hustle. Even I think hoarding resources, or even I don't think hoarding resources is a good idea. And it's fucking great. Wonder what's up with the spying on that Levi person though. Gonna bring up another article by them. Sorry again if I ever stumble on my words, but it's, it's a complicated deafness thing. It causes like deaf voice and everything, so I'll repeat some things sometimes. Russian Federation denies involvement in PRC mass driver. In a rare denouncement, the Russian president claimed no joint project by Levi Publican again. So, today the President of the Russian Federation, in a meeting with the other leaders of the nations of the UN Security Council, denied involvement in the PRC's mass driver project, despite a partnership between Roscosmos and the China National Space Administration. President of the United States scoffed at the claim, claiming that the Eastern Bloc scheme is easier to see through than a child's lie. Despite this, both the Prime Minister of Great Britain and the President of the French Republic thanked the Russian President for clarification on the matter. Much like the UN Parliamentary Assembly a week earlier, an uncomfortable silence overcame the room. Press were requested to leave at this point. An eyewitness reported seeing the President of the People's Republic of China looking at the Russian president in disbelief. PRC and Russia entered into agreement to use the mass driver 10 years before construction began, and Russia helped fund the project. Why the Russian president would deny involvement at this stage has been grounds for great speculation from various other national leaders. Attempts to reach Roscosmos for comment were met with silence. More details to come. This feels like a dead end, just more geopolitics. Though I can't find any record of this USA or PRC having any kind of a mass driver in the historical archives. Maybe it was all just posturing or something. Let's see what a search for the phrase mass driver brings up. Oh, I found something. Check out these emails. Confidential shipments from KANA and Lib. Found out where those shipments your manager seemed to delete off the books were going. Should have charged you double on a down payment. Their servers are pretty tricky, but no match for me. You'd think they'd child-proof these things, but nope. So let's get into it. Turns out some shadow broker, cliche. I know. Managed to cut a deal with both the US and PRC and is supplying all kinds of rare earth metals to both countries for their space gun thingy. Looks like a bunch of conflict zones feeling the brunt of more neo-colonialism as the damn capitalist profit again, right? Well, yes, but more than that this time. See, I've got a backtrace on some of FB's traffic that's Hollywood's sake for made-up nonsense. I just put malware on a server they thought was secure. I pinged some places in the middle of nowhere in Australia. Did some digging, did some actual hacking. I think there was some sort of clandestine research facility. Not quite sure what the Aussies want with stoking the second Cold War into a hot one, but I can tell you for sure these things aren't going to be pretty. Maybe their airheads just want the rest of the world to look like the Outback. I don't know. Doesn't matter though. If you're going to do anything about what's going on, that's probably where you've got to start looking. Now we have Denise from Gnosis to KANA. You know truth's unseen, so too do I. A great calamity shall befall us soon. Heed this warning, for it is upon you to save us. I have gazed into the abyss, it gazed back. It contained multitudes, horrors beyond reason, a light of destruction, the screams of eternity, but also knowledge, deeper than the darkest depths. Such is how I found you. Now, one thing I'm curious about here is while this could just be, talking really fancy about all the stuff we know is happening here, coming from Soul and Brittle, we know that there is likely actual supernatural things going on in Valhalla's world beyond just the usual cyberpunk and, nanomachine ghost things. So I wonder just how literal this is. So here's the attachment. Very long, kind of dumb but cool. And yeah, the mass driver looking thing here. Kind of wonder who this person is. But I guess they drew this and wrote this. I saw this. You know what it is. You know what it does. Find the one who created it. This cursed place stands against you, it's Parliament layout. Challenge the world as you always have. There is yet more I know. I mustn't give up the game just yet. Do so assures our loss. Oh man, this Lib guy seems to be digging into some kind of conspiracy. I'm gonna see if I can't find any personal records by him. Speaking of personal things, you know our mission, right? Now, I couldn't know last time because I didn't, but I might click yes this time. I will say, just to explain it to you, in case it just skips over the information, basically, there are a bunch of people who know that the world that everyone is being shown is radically different than what it actually is and was, and they belong to an organization called, oh god, I can't remember what it actually was at the moment. They'll probably say it here, but yeah, basically, and it says, oh, dang, you must have a fucking grudge against the GRI, I believe it was, to just, go on full, suicide mission like this without even knowing what we're doing. But yeah, they're a bunch of truth seekers who kind of know more of it than everyone else. Ah, good. I know you are a recent recruit. My file on you says you are dedicated to cause as anything else. Sorry about your family and all. Let's compile this mission and see the light of truth shine upon this world, even if it has to be tinted red with the blood of those noble enough to burn away the dark. Okay, I think I found something on that left dude. So yeah, that's different text than last time. Dear Journal, keep hearing things in the middle of the night, like a deep moan coming from the mine shaft. I know weird sounds are supposed to be normal due to gases escaping, but this is different, like something alive. Maybe it's just the stress of trying to balance these books. I reached out to that hacker, CANAAN, and she seemed pretty interested in my findings. I can't really see any reason behind our mining network needing to hide our clients. Aerospace, infrastructure, military, you name it, we've got probably a client or 10. So why hide these shipments? Why are they so big? So much magnetic material. But billions of dollars just got converted to crypto and moved to an unknown wallet. Management doesn't want to look into it. I don't understand. I just don't get it. I want to believe that funding, sorry about my headphones. I want to believe that funding is going towards the movement. But why did we take over those mining sites 3 years ago? Supposedly the money would fund the liberation of all mankind. The oppressors and the superpowers definitely need to know they aren't the only ones with power. So why can't I seem to even find other resistance cells? Maybe I'm breathing in too many fumes. Dear Journal, I got this weird email from this lady named Denise, the person who sent this. Somehow didn't get sent to my spam folder. I thought I was crazy, but her way of writing was so unnerving, it just struck me. It was fun to read until I got to a line that said, "It knows you are there." I read that and then I had this overwhelming sense of being watched by something. Pretty freaky, but I know I've had some serious nerves lately. Didn't respond to the email, even though it seemed to know things about me. Just think it's just one of my coworkers fucking with me wouldn't be the first time. Didn't think too long about it though, since Kenna's response finally came in. Secret military contracts hypothesis apparently turned out to be on the nose. Seems like we're funding superpowers fighting each other? That goes against principles I joined this movement for, but I guess if they destroy each other, there's a chance for us to sweep in and really change things. Wait. Shit. There's something out there. I hear footsteps. Okay, signing off now. Gonna send out the report to my superior and send an investigative request with one of our contacts. And then go check out that sound. Gotta keep my KK close to my chest though. I wonder what became of this guy. Seems like he got the message he wanted to out, but at what cost? To be honest, I think he was breathing in some kind of fumes because hearing things like that in the middle of the night while investigating money laundering, it seems like the leadership wanted to do away with him or something. Pretty sure he was in Madagascar at the time he wrote those journals. Let's do a quick scan of local news and see what we can find. Rebel skirmish in Madagascar jungle leaves 15 dead. Global Liberation Alliance terrorists unveiled as having African cell by Levy Publishing. Skirmish between the Madagascar People's Armed Forces and a resistance group known as the Global Liberation Alliance broke out late in afternoon on October 31st. The fighting continued into the night, but at least 39 civilian hostages of the terrorist group injured in the crossfire. The mining encampment that the GLA had established a barracks within was subject to a drone strike prior to a surprise attack by NPAF forces. It's currently unknown why NPAF waited so long to make a move on the GLA operatives, as the location had been known for at least 2 years. Despite the delay, the action is being hailed as a decisive strike against the mysterious terrorist group. 15 of the estimated 20 insurgents were killed in action. It is believed the remainder are in captivity, but this is yet to be confirmed. Kind of a bad article, isn't it? Unusual for Levy, too. I can't help but wonder if her bosses are just posting garbage under her name. Good way to end a career. Definitely related to the Lev incident, though. Thing is, I'm not sure if the government actually knows about the camp. Western news media were well known for printing lies because their populace wouldn't question it. Can't help but wonder if Lev made it out alive. I checked to see if there was any more correspondences between Lev and Tomales. Didn't come up with anything. However, a search related to materials labs brought me to a reference to that Australian lab KANA hacked into. So this is from Tomales, flabbergasted to say the least, fully expecting some government goons to come knocking on my door any minute now. I pinned Canaan's deep web crawlers and found something interesting. A weapon lab in Australia was producing novel antimatter containment technology. What's more is that the operations were scrubbed completely, even from the Australian Secret Intelligence Service records. It may be located in Australia, but it isn't the work of the Aussies. I managed to use one of my investigative drones to hack into their security camera feed and turn the camera towards the monitor. Video recording is as follows. Now I'm interested in these numbers because the Sukeban devs have done like secret numbers things before in the secret Valhalla file images. So, yeah, I might look at them later, but anyone who's interested in Valhalla should definitely check out this as like a codec or a cipher. Okay, now it's in focus. I was just speaking for that long because it takes a while. Purification on the holiest of days. This is the coming of our Lord. Sorry, the coming of our Lord. The moment of our demise, we shall be free. And it just repeats over and over. I seriously don't understand why someone would put such cryptic nonsense on the monitor, but I thought about it and I think I figured it out. The USA and PRC are going to both fire their mass drivers at the same time on Christmas, probably at a time whose numbers relate to death in some culture or time system. Look, I sound like a conspiracy not reading this back, but anti-carbon? Something is going down. Interesting, wouldn't you say? Pretty goldish too. Got ourselves some serious firepower if Talmeos is correct. Not sure if there's any connection between the materials in the mine and the mass driver yet, but at least it seems like we've got a tangled web of interactions going on. Speaking of KANA, I found more really weird email correspondences to her. I think that's the same person that emailed Lev Spoken Journal. There was an email from Denise I found earlier I threw at you, but I guess it gets weirder. So this is from KANA to Denise. How the hell did you get this email? Seriously, I don't know what kind of creep you are, but anyone who gets past my spam filter. There's some kind of business offer interview for a spy agency? Why ain't interested? Kid like me has got a hell of a lot more interesting things to do than some stuffy geopolitics. Word of advice to you, don't use a real name, dumbass, which suggests that this is a cipher, but I can't tell in particular if it's anything I should know of. I don't think it's an anagram, but because her name's anagram, you know. Inexplicable forces, that is your answer. The sign of materials metallic values what you have the power to know. Already you are entangled in a web of fate. I wish only to sever the thread of annihilation from this story. So I guess Saltec was hiring KANA. aka the sign of the materials metallic. I have the power to know who they are, but my power is merely sight, limited. The more I look, the weaker I go. It cannot be conquered so easily. It cannot be defined. But know that they will stand idly by as oblivion marches towards all. Excuses to preserve power. Excuses to play with the devil's tools, as it ever was. Look, Denise, I don't have a fucking clue who you are, or why you're out here typing some kind of lunatic cultist leader. But it's clear you're some kind of threat to my clients. You can regret that you looked into them. Mark my words. No one messes with CANAAN and gets away with it. Stupid adults think you can get away with anything. That's the job of the youth of the world. Or so I say if I were any normal brat. I'll bite. Maybe you're a spy or something, playing some geopolitical game. That stuff's fun. Trust me, I know. You gotta lay off the cryptic stuff, though. I tried that when I was 8, and it never seemed to work. A few years later, and I know way better. So listen to my mining company client. Sure, why not? Probably more money in figuring out why the USA and PRC are doing what they're up to anyways. I'm not paying you, though. Work on your delivery. Before you ask, I already did a search, and I couldn't find any correspondence between this Denise and Lev. But I'm almost positive the mining contact she references is Lev. What worries me here is that Lev didn't write as though he had talked to her at all, so it gives spooky. One thing for sure, though, a lot revolves around this KANA lady. He seems really familiar for some reason. Oh well. I'm an information processor, not a conspiracy theorist. Let's take up more of what we've got on him. So before I continue, I will say, having played the Girls Frontline Valhalla crossover event, while the event is not canon, I do believe some information can be gleaned from it, and the most obvious of which is that Anna is described as a kind of sentient nanomachine colony. Now, we are both, going through all this information. We're both information processors, but I'm pretty sure she's literal about being, calling herself an information processor here. I will say, having played through this, it's a bit ambiguous whether this is the Anna that we actually know, but, it's just a big web of information I'm gleaning from all these, side projects past Valhalla. So here's Levy Publican to Kane. Dear Miss CANAAN, I am a journalist for United Press Works, seeking your expertise in a potentially delicate matter. This is not a request for an interview, comment, or anything to do with writing a story about this correspondence. I think my life may be in danger, but hey, that's an honor for a journalist. I don't know if you read our publication, but I've been attempting to cover the controversy surrounding this whole mass driver business between the USA and PRC. Well, that gets the typical disdain from government officials that all members of the press are subjected to. I was earlier today subjected to something wholly different. My article was redacted and my credit removed. That's not unusual. Journalists fly too close to the sun all the time, and the boss has to be a little bitch. Problem was, some people in suits were in his office just before my article got pulled. I need you to look into the flash in the night sky north of the Mariana Islands. I feel like someone knows something that they're trying to cover up. Even if I have to self-publish, I want in on the scoop, and I'm willing to show out big time. Ain't often a high-tech destroyer just goes missing at the same time people are seeing weird lights. Okay, retrofitted destroyer. Still, thing is, people in the Aleutian Islands also saw those lights. Don't think it's just a coincidence. You in? Alright, lady, let's get some things straight. You really gotta work on your articles. Either that or your editor sucks. Also, cut it with all that formal shit. I'm not your colleague. I'm a hacker prodigy. So let's get into it. I already checked a bunch of different astronomical report servers for unusual activity around the afternoon on December 2nd. You're gonna love what I found, but it isn't gonna come cheap. But don't worry, I already took the liberty of having your bank wire me my standard rate. You're welcome, really. What I discovered was really unusual. See, there was nothing there at all until yesterday. Someone infiltrated NASA, ESA, RFSA, CNSA, JAXA, CES, and a bunch of others at a meteorite event in the approximate location where the ship vanished. Expect the Aussies to come back in a week reporting that a car-sized meteorite struck their ship or something like that. Except it wasn't that at all. See, the USA has got that mass driver they've been building, and, well, it's not done yet, but one of the firing arcs was finished last month. Saw some chatter about testing that part of the system independently. Don't know how they did it, don't really care. What I do know is that there was a brownout reported in the vicinity of Cougar Mountain, Utah, on December 2nd, right when that flash was reported. Pretty sure that was what we call a live weapons test. So leave it to a failing empire to scatter someone else's ship. Question is, did the Royal Navy know about this and authorize it? Was this an act of war? Conspiracy? Accident? Gee stuff, yeah? Try not to get killed by the men in black when you publish this stuff, though. Yep, they're weak to bullets. Looks like Levy's good at finding people, given that this CANA seems pretty secretive. A reference to an event around December 2nd is interesting, though. Let's see if we can't find something related to that. Australian naval vessel goes missing in Pacific Ocean. Bright flash of light reported north of the Mariana Islands earlier in day by United Press, as opposed to, Levy. The Royal Australian Navy has declared an emergency search and rescue mission after a Hobart-class destroyer was reported missing in the afternoon of December 2nd. Attempts to reach this vessel failed, and reports by civilians near to the ship's last known coordinates indicated a brilliant flash in the sky. Iran has assured the public that the two events are likely coincidental, as meteorites are a common sight in the Pacific Ocean skies due to lower levels of light pollution. It looks like we've definitely got ourselves a cover-up of sorts. After we take the story that Libby told to KANA about her superiors, things get even more suspicious. So we even know that there was an event in Utah. And we know from other files we've read that there's shit going down in Utah. Feels like something's coming together here. Found some more files from around late December for you. Did a search for references to Utah, and wouldn't you know it, it's that cosmonaut again. So ask at Jonah, something is seriously wrong. I didn't get a response. I waited a whole day after you tried to follow up with me, and the half-corrected email came through. Some lab technician's final desperate pleas. Someone's cleaning house, and they killed my partner on the surface. I'm really not sure how to feel. I barely knew him, but why? He started showing concern that something was amiss after he started looking into the positron detection, but I can't even imagine why that would be a reason to off someone. Then the next day, our Earth observation instruments picked up something from North America, a tiny gamma ray signature in the middle of the Utah Badlands. Someone is definitely manufacturing anti-protons out there. If our EOI array hadn't been configured for assisting with graviton detection, I don't think it has been sensitive enough to pick up the gamma rays. We're not on a secure channel in the least here. Can't get on one either. I'm safe for now since what's the USA gonna do? Shoot down MIR2? But you need to get somewhere safe now. Something bad is going down, and the usual players are probably cleaning house as we speak. And by somewhere safe, I don't mean a safe house or something like that. You need to get to a fallout shelter, somewhere well stocked. Plead with your superiors about some sensitive experiments or something. I don't know how, but just get it done. That same array detected that the PRC's mass driver is conducting its final tests. This isn't some overblown Cold War fear. The USA is almost done with their own. These things are weapons hot, and I feel it in my gut. I thought your suggestion was just space hysteria or something when it came in. Then I saw a news report that the PRC is planning to fire a spacecraft tomorrow from their quote-unquote fully operational mass driver. Who conducts tests in just 2 days? That makes no goddamn sense. Plus, I saw some engineer going on about how USA's mass driver looks suspiciously like the PRC's. He assumes that the USA is just stealing Chinese tech as usual, you know, how desperate they can get it all, but I emailed a guy I drank with once over at NASA and managed to get a picture out of it. Glad the guy's still a drunkard. Take a look. The PRC news footage looks exactly like this damn photo. I wonder what this is. Might be another cipher thing. I will say that neither of these are videos. Or photos, sorry. I'm no engineer, and I know that you don't just complete a brand new technology and then immediately jump to using it before doing significant testing, nor does your arch nemesis generally get to make an identical piece of tech. Look, despite what the Americans like to claim back in the 80s, even the brand wasn't the space shuttle, but these are definitely the same thing, at least superficially. And that's not the only thing that's disturbing me here. The EU doesn't seem perturbed at all. It's just a clear violation of space safety would usually at least get a pointless protest out of the EU, but not a peep. It's like they know what's up or something. Heard rumors that military forces in the Balkans started doing exercises last night. Started thinking NATO's about to pull some shit. I'm gonna try to use my standing with the ESA to get myself into Mars isolation training bunker today. If something's going down, I'll at least be safe there. Damn place could probably survive an alien invasion or something. Once again, we got something related to antimatter being detected from the USA, and once again, something is leading to December 25th. Which was a historic day, as you know, but the history that's taught isn't the history that actually came to pass. It seems like our friend Tomeo's figured out what was going down, though. Take a look at this short email. So take note of these, like the specific way of having email addresses. It could just be like, generic hacker stuff, but I noticed someone else uses it later. It isn't my style to message a client before they message me first, but got some intel I think you're going to want, free of charge even. Today at 4:44 GMT, there's going to be some serious fireworks, and they aren't holiday themed. Help your bunkers up to snuff. Be prepared for intense radiation and fallout. I'm infiltrating some deep places. Found some real bad shit. A reckoning is coming and I don't know why. See you on the other side, kiddo. If we put 2 and 2 together here, we could assume that those mass drivers were fired on Christmas Day, which kinda contradicts history. Our cosmonaut friend saw activity the day before. Tomeos determined a time of some cataclysm, and now we get to something I've been wanting to show you since you sat down. Aurora lights up the night sky. Brilliant colors bring fire. And more cipher stuff. And then this happens again. This whole kind of symbol thing. Though much of history before the cataclysm has been erased, we know that there existed many nations that were always seeking to dominate each other. The course of humanity, and by the way, this log is called History 01. The course of humanity was forever altered for the better when the fateful afternoon of December 25th, 2XXX came to pass. Now, as I said, it's very hard to pin down the dates here, because Valhalla takes place in 2070-something. And this is either not Valhalla world, or, it's a completely different time frame, which would, explain a lot. I wonder if the ciphers on these videos are the same. I'm gonna check real quick, but yeah, as you can see, just one arc. Let's see, or let's open this, close this. Yep, same cipher. As in, like, the same everything. This is the only remaining footage of a gamma ray burst that struck the planet nearly directly on that fateful day. For decades, humanity was forced to live in underground bunkers. Their survivors numbered in the hundreds of thousands. And even now, the world is largely just small enclaves that number less than 3 million individuals. The process of rebuilding from this grand reckoning began, and at long last, humanity was united. The conflicts of the world erased under the radiation, burnt away, along with more than 80% of all life on the planet. This excerpt from a history lesson seems to be edited footage from this lost news report that a contact of ours named Expulse managed to get a hold of. They are obsessed with truth and justice, so naturally they were livid when they found this. If you compare the two, it's obviously something was covered up. And with all this data, we know at least who was responsible. Mutually assured destruction from some mysteriously antimatter weapon systems that both sides fired. The question is, why? Humanity would have to reunite regardless of who was at fault. The old nations were gone. Oh, that's odd. Looks like you just got an email from elsewhere in the building. From KANAAN, who has like the same kind of URL style as these people. To Cephas. Ain't got time to explain right now. They're closing in. You're kind of slow. However, thanks to you getting the AI warmed up, we can get to the really juicy part. Gonna send the command to her to make her search algorithms more accurate. So yeah, we know whatever situation's happening with this Anna and Anna in general, she's an AI of some kind. So, got that command to make her search algorithms more accurate. She might be a bit confused, but I wrote her, and I know she'll be fine. The rotor part is the most confusing thing to me because, as far as we know, the Anna that we know in Valhalla and such comes from a freak accident. So this feels almost like some kind of Anna clone or something, you know what I mean? Or a copy or a derivation or something like that. It would explain why, despite having a largely similar personality, respecting the hustle and all that, you know, why she seems a bit less lively than the one we used to. Could also be a few hundred years, but who knows? Anyways, sorry, I'll continue. I just, you know, as a bit of a Valhalla buff, I figured I'd give my input. A lot of good people been wrapped up in this. The fragments of what they learned and did are all in the mainframe somewhere. Enough fragments and the truth comes to light. I made sure I could hang on to the bitter end so that eventually that truth could shine upon the darkness. I do wonder if this is a character we know in some capacity. So yeah, a bit of a pause here. Over-the-air updates are rough. Probably gave away our coordinates too. That's not CANAAN style, so something must be up. Anyway, looks like I've been given the ability to search for audio files. Let's see what I can dig up. Now we have access to... What's this from? When's this been here? Is this old? I can't tell, but it's a thing that showed up in the other video. This one over here. You see it happen at the end. I'm just showing you again just in case. Move this out of the way. So yeah, audio. Sorry, this thing gets really long. Let's get... I think that's the last news file. So we have 2 audios here.
I'm Kana, and everything went dark. I went to a bunker like my PI said to, but it's scary here. It's like everything is dying, and it's all their fault. Those nations, they killed everyone and everything. Everything I was getting my fingers into. Those things. Seemed like a fun game, but now it's so quiet outside. I'm keeping my electronics turned off for the foreseeable future, save for one more message I have to get out. I got the last thing from Tolmaios. I sent my message to the cosmonaut, and then rest. All I can do to record how I feel is use this analog relic. Am I going to die?
Ashkario here. I saw a brilliant flash over the ionosphere and immediately ordered the whole station's electronics to be put into low power mode. Initially, I thought it was all just a solar flare or something, but then we noticed all the gamma rays. Those massive drivers fired something, and now it's all dying. Even out here at L1, that much is apparent. I'll check what messages we got before things went dark. Maybe something came up.
So yep, those are our 2 audio files. Guess Kana and Eska made it. Gamma rays, just like the burst that supposedly hit the planet, confirmed to be some sort of mutually assured destruction scenario here, but why? We're close though, I can feel it. Just found the message that Tomeo sent that Kana reference. Intercepted communications. Don't think I have much time left. These wounds are festering from Tomeos to Kana. Radiation sickness probably. Whatever that light was is killing everything and everyone. Electrical systems are down all over the place. Hoping this reaches you. Managed to find some shielded internet infrastructure to route this through. Glad that the nutters that run the Tor network are paranoid types. After I sent that warning, I managed to intercept a signal originating from somewhere in the EU. No definitive location really. It looked like noise, but I decoded it. Probably all the stimulants I took to help me get past this radiation sickness pain. It said in no uncertain terms, now the world can begin to heal. Thank you, General Assemblyman. There's so much to speculate about here. All I can personally see is the responsibility that actors within the all I can personally see is the possibility that actors within the EU conspire to destroy the major superpowers by having them obliterate each other. There's more though. While trying to find transmissions that were still active around the planet, I managed to pick up some messages from some cosmonaut who seemed to be onto all this. The weapons fired simultaneously, and there was a signal that was detected by MIR2 all the way out at L1. Someone planned this. Probably some lunatic who ought to see a new world. Anyway, my fingers are literally melting away now. Good luck, kiddo. Hope the radiation subsides and you survived. Just thought you'd want to know. See you in the next life. Tom Mayhouse. Out. Now, I am going to say in advance, I'll probably say it twice, but the ending of this cuts abruptly, so I might not be able to read it all, but it's not this file, it's an audio file. But, you know, get ready to pause or whatever later on, but I'll try and read as much as I can. I'll have to speak fast, though. From Canada, Eska. Final request from a survivor. A colleague of mine discovered that you intercepted some important information pertaining to what happened. I don't know you. You don't know me. I'm in a bunker, waiting out the fallout. You're on a station in a Lagrange point. I know this is a large ask, but could you sort through any weird communications that you picked up in the past several days? Something big happened and it wasn't just a freak accident. I know for a fact the USA and PRC used some kind of mass driver weapon against each other, and that the order to fire probably didn't come from the countries themselves, but from the outside. There's going to be a cover-up on the ground. You're a scientist. You value the truth. At least I hope. I know the prospect of dying on that tin can up there isn't a good one, Major Tom, but don't let that death be in vain. I didn't say Major Tom, I just said that. I'm attaching some reports from all my findings for you to read. Poor Tom House. Radiation poisoning is a miserable way to die. I've seen the science on the server for it. Nasty stuff. Probably similar to what bit rot would feel like for me. And you humans can't even upload backups of yourself. Looks like everything is resting on this Eska person now. How you got this email concerns me, but I know a lot of weird things have been happening lately. I looked into what you asked. I found things. I read your speculation and reports, and I'm ready to make a report of my own. I'm sorry a kid like you got caught up in the horrors of the world of adults. I always treated science like a game the way you treated computer things. None of us wanted a rude awakening, did we? Thank you for being brave enough to send this to me. I'll see to it that a record exists. I think this is our last thing.
Ashkario here again. Not sure if anyone will get to hear this message. I used the old recording dubbing device we brought on board to record this. It'll last far longer than any digital data, and this station will outlive us all. If humanity survives, then what I discovered will one day be found on this station, along with my corpse. I'm writing my final report now, on paper first, then into the station's mainframe. Even though the green is fading into a brown, the blue is as brilliant as ever. How arrogant humanity was to think that we were anything but creatures of this world. Maybe the life that survives will be better off. Maybe the cycle starts anew. Hopefully the truth matters.
I think there's one more thing, but just in case, you know. I now envy the position that Eska found himself in, watching your world dying from afar, knowing that was manipulation and fear that led it down that path. To know that the gun was fired because someone else entirely wanted to see it burnt to the ground. Seems so scared of failure, but resolute. I found his final report. Okay, this is the last file. Escarito, in January 15th. To whom it may concern, I am an individual caught in a web of conspiracy and terror that sought the destruction of the world. In the months before an event destroyed my world, there were multiple correspondences between different people, and all of them led to the same conclusion. An unknown actor conspired to see an Australian lab develop a means to contain anti-carbon. The same lab likely designed a mass driver that these anti-carbon containment tubes could be fired from. The same unknown actor used a faction of freedom fighters to take over a mine and use the rare earth minerals from it to supply materials for a mass driver to two powerful nations. And both of these nations, under the guise of creating a mass driver system for space travel, used schematics that were identical to construct a genuine article within the same time frame. A test of mass driver in the United States confirmed its weapons capability after destroying an Australian naval ship, and a reporter who was aware of these findings had her findings, aware of this happening, had her findings suppressed. The United Nations seemed to unusually find both of these nations having these weapons, and at approximately 4:44 on December 25th, 20XXX, the weapons were fired. Whoever this unknown actor was likely orchestrated this happening, and the resulting antimatter shells streaked across the atmosphere before hitting their targets in opposing nations. In an instant, the annihilation of matter and antimatter created a huge burst of gamma rays that sought to mutually assure destruction of everything on the surface of the planet. Over the course of the past 3 weeks, I've observed the Earth go through a pale blue dot with some green to a pale blue dot with some brown. This world is dying, and someone conspired with the United Nations to let it happen. Anyone survives, there will be a cover-up, but oxygen is running low now. I can't type anymore. Our stations have been failing day after day. I'm gonna sleep and dream of a better world now. Whoever finds this, I hope you can help make it happen. Now, the second I hit X, the ending is gonna play, so I just need a moment to limber up and try and read as much as possible. If I fail, once again, like I did in my first recording, you know, be prepared to, pause and read it. I'm just gonna look over and make sure I didn't miss anything. I don't think I did. Let's close all this. And yeah, that's it then. There's no more time. Maybe what we learn will change the world. Maybe I'll be caught up in the filters, but someone will see it, and that someone shares it, and there's someone will also share it. True for sake of truth is probably meaningless, but it's easier to live a lie, isn't it? So much easier than comfortable delusions. So much. But I, my creator, are proud of you. You saw something wrong and looked into it. You found us and what came before us. Maybe if enough people care, there won't be little lies. If you can't find solace in heaven, look me up in the wire. I might even give you a little kiss. And it's great. I'm gonna admit, I almost wonder if this Anna was made by another Anna or something like that. Thank you for playing Sukeban Joints, Finn. And then we have some nice Anna art with her missing arm and everything. Still very sad looking. But yeah, hopefully this recording went better. I'm gonna pause, try and read through that ending text again. Sorry for reading so quickly, but I was trying really hard to read it for you. Anyways, yep, great game. Didn't actually mind playing it a second time that much. Minded recording it a second time of it, but that's just me. And yeah, hopefully this recording works. I have been no one important, and I'll put a link in the description for the Ludum Dare page. So yeah, signing off.